Welcome everyone to another episode where we are going to take a look at the last deck to be covered from the V5 expansion for Vampire, and that is Nosferatu. Okay, Nosferatu, the otherwise known as the Ugly Boys on the outside. These guys are afflicted that when they get turned into vampires, I wouldn't say decay, I would say that they go through some type of transformation that doesn't allow them to go in normal human society without people wondering what the hell is that. So from that old movie called Nosferatu, I guess that's where the name really came from for the sect and how they look. So very bat-like in that regard, but they can be decomposing, just a range of different things that affects each one individually. Alright, so as we go through, this clan is very much, and let me just get a vampire with all the disciplines that we need to be aware of. Alright, here's one. Alright, so now very much that blacked out symbol, that diamond there, is called Obfuscate. The next one with the paw print is Animalism, and then one above that with the fist is Potence. Okay, now some of these do have the eye symbol as well. However, what you want from this deck, if you can get it, vampires, I would say going with Animalism and Potence would be fantastic, and depends how you want to go with it. If you need a bit of stealth, then Obfuscate is definitely the way to go. So let's just take a look at the vampires and see which way this deck functions. Okay, so we've got Aunt Linda, a 4-cap. We've got Baixinho, I think. He's a 3-cap, and you can see what the change into vampirism did for him or her, or whatever it is. Alright, now we start getting into some of the bigger vampires. We've got Belinde, which is a Camarilla Prince of Copenhagen. Very good, advanced Obfuscate and minor disciplines in all the rest, but does have them. Now the Dowager, which we came across before. This is a Primogen with only 1 vote. The Prince had 2 votes, and the Dowager gets +1 intercept against directed action. So anything that comes towards you like a bleed, then that is a directed action, gets a +1 intercept. Alright, we've got 2 advanced disciplines on Horace Radcliffe. Now you've got Larissa, you've got 2 of the Larissa, another Camarilla Primogen. During a bleed action, Larissa can discard a card requiring Animalism to get +1 bleed. Oh, very nice. Yep. So there's a bit of bleed. Nosferatu, while stealthing around, haven't really had many cards that boost up bleeds, and they've had to rely on other things and continuously bleeding, maybe with minor minions to get through, maybe with computer hackings, but let's see what this deck does for him. Now here's another Primogen with +1 bleed, so you can start seeing that these guys are starting to be a bit of a force with the bleed. He's got advanced Animalism. Right, we've got 1 Ryan, which is a 4-cap, built minor in each discipline. And finally, Wauneka, advanced Potence. I love it. Alright, so let's take a look at the cards that you do get in the deck, and I'm pretty surprised with some of these cards. So, first of all, Carrion Crows, fantastic card. Get into combat and start doing range damage. Now, okay, only usable before range is determined. A vampire can only play 1 Carrion Crows each combat. The opposing minion takes 1R damage, environmental damage, or 2R at advanced. So really good. You slap that down on the table, and while you're in combat, these crows are flying around the opposition and pecking at them. Yeah, no, very good. You can only play 1 in the combat. Another Animalism card. We've got 4 of Cat's Guidance. Only usable by a locked vampire who has blocked after block resolution. Unlock the vampire. Fantastic. So just when they expect that they've locked you out, you get to untap with Cat's Guidance, or at advance it gives you +1 intercept. So you'll find that about the Nosferatu. They're very much a toolbox type clan where they can do a little bit of everything. Yeah, or they can specialize. With the Cat's Guidance, just fantastic card. That cat that, you know, just helps you along. Now, this next card, I can see people building a deck around. It's called Creeping Sabotage. New card. Now, X is the number of Creeping Sabotages you control. So this is how much it costs in the bottom corner down here with the blood symbol. During your unlock phase, your prey burns 1 pull. Any minion can burn this as a D action. So, X is the number of creatures. So the first one is for free, second one costs 2, and then the third one costs 4, and so on. Or X is the number of Creeping Sabotages you control. So before it even comes into play, yeah, the second one will cost 1, third one will cost 2, and so forth. Now, I can see people trying to find more of this card, or even buying just this deck to make this even more and get 8 of these in the deck. It comes with 4 at the moment. Pretty much you're getting these out, and then it's up to your prey or any other vampires around the table to try and destroy these as they're on there. That way they don't need to bleed, because the prey is losing that every round. It's only a matter of time before it really matters. Yeah. So forcing the prey or any other vampires to come your way so you can beat them up. So next one we've got is 6 of this card. Deep Song. Let me read it. Bleed with +1 bleed or at advance. Now this is animalism. So we've seen some pretty strong animalism cards so far. Frenzy. Enter. So this is a directed action. Enter combat with and lock a vampire. So if someone's not tapping out, you can actually enter combat with them and lock them. That target vampire is considered the active minion during the combat. Why that is important is because the active minion has to play their attacks first. So you really much get to see what they're planning to do and how they're going to wheedle out of the combat. And then you get to react to that. So Fame, pretty good card, pretty popular card amongst various decks. Put this card on a ready vampire. The controller of this vampire burns 3 pull after this vampire goes to torpor. During each Methuselah's untapped phase, if this vampire is in torpor, everyone burns 1 pull at the beginning of their turn while the vampire stays in torpor. So this is very much taking into account that your vampire is famous, and when they go missing for some reason, the news, people are asking questions, and it really has an impact on the masquerade, which is the vampire's ability to survive by being unknown. Otherwise people will track down vampires and kill them. We've got 4 guard dogs, so more animalism. This is crazy. Only usable by locked vampire during a bleed. Unlock the vampire. Not react, it's literally unlock at basic and at advanced as above with 1 optional maneuver during the resulting combat if the vampire blocks. So you also get a maneuver as your dogs start hunting them down. So as you can see, you got your dogs waking you up and giving you maneuvers and helping you in combat. You got the birds in there pecking away. And then right at the end of it, you got the cats who help you wake up. Oh, it's fantastic. I love the animalism in this. All right, Guardian Angel. Put this card on a ready vampire you control. The vampire gets +1 intercept during bleed actions against you. Gotta love a Guardian Angel. This vampire can prevent 1 damage each combat. Burn this card if the vampire enters torpor. So a fantastic card. Not sure you can really see. There we go. We've got the zoom in. Yeah, nice card. Haven Uncovered. So we've really got the aspect here of they're not only getting cards out with that, was it the Sabotage? Creeping Sabotage and annoying the prey, but now they've got a Haven Uncovered. There's only 1 of in this. I prefer more of these cards. I like to get into combat myself, and if I was taking a different Nosferatu deck, it would be a little bit more combat orientated. But this one is a little bit more toolboxy, setting up things that annoy the prey and also start dunking vampires that annoy them. And in doing that, once you get into combat, one of my favorite cards, there's 4 of in this deck, I don't see why it shouldn't go to a little bit more, is Immortal Grapple. What this does is that if you are at short range, you can grab the opponent and now they can't do any other strikes other than hand strikes. So, you know, you're at short range and you're grappling each other and you're just going bang, bang, bang. And this is where the Nosferatu are going to excel with their ability of Potence, which is really going to hurt the opponent. The opponent can't combat ends or do anything like that other than hand strike you back. So you're at an advantage. Now, Instinctive Reaction, another Animalism card. This is a really good one. +1 intercept. And as above, with one optional maneuver during the resulting combat if this vampire blocks at advanced. So you got more maneuvers there. Animalism, just taking it home, keeping these vampires active. All right, we've got the Labyrinth, which is a location. And look at that bat-formed Nosferatu. Fantastic. Right, lock this Nosferatu. Lock to give a Nosferatu you control +1 stealth. So that's all it does. Just gives +1 stealth. Costs you as a Methuselah 1, not the vampire. Right, we're starting to get into a bit of stealth now with the Obfuscate cards. Lost in Crowds, we get 4 of them. +1 stealth. And as above, but for +2 stealth, it gives you if you need to do an action and someone is threatening to block you. Now, Murder of Crows. This was not an easy card to attain back when, because you wanted a few of them, yeah? And a fair few people cottoned onto this card, and that's why it was hard to get in my circle of influence anyway. Another Animalism card. It does cost vampires 1. However, this is a retainer, so it sits on your vampire. Now, animal with 1 life. Murder of Crows inflicts 1R damage on the opposing minion each round of combat during the normal strike resolution. And at advance, it has 2 life. So not only have you got Murder of Crows happening with your vampire doing damage, you've also got the Carrion Crows. You know, it's... love it. This Animalism deck. I do have a weenie Animalism deck somewhere, and it's got very much of these tricks, and I guess it could be quite annoying coming up against because these things are just everywhere. Alright, 5 on the QV, assisting you to act with a locked vampire. Preternatural Strength. Now we're starting to get into the potents, but there's only 2 of this card, unfortunately. That's +2 stealth action. Put this card on a vampire, this vampire gets +1 strength. Yeah, and it costs the vampire 1 blood to do so. At advance, gets +2 strength. So if you get the Immortal Grapple off with that and you're at +2 strength, you're doing 3 damage plus whatever your crows are doing. Yeah, nice. Alright, now Protected District, another card which was a reaction card which I hadn't seen before this. Requires a Primogen. Alright, so we had a few Primogen in the deck. Only usable during a bleed action against you or during the polling step of a political action. Reduce the bleed amount by 3. That is fantastic. Or this vampire gains +3 votes against a referendum. So this is where we start getting into the toolbox aspect of the deck, that it can do a little bit of everything to protect itself. There's 4 of that card. Here we go, more Animalism. Whew. Raven Spy. So you're Carrion Crows and now you've got a Raven. Animal with 1 life, the employee gets +1 intercept, and as above, but the Raven has 2 life. Now, life is important for these animals because the opponent can choose to target them instead of your vampire if they find that that's more of a threat. Rebel. Now, this is an archetype. We haven't really seen many archetypes in my videos anyway, but put this card on a vampire you control once each turn. If they block a titled vampire or a political action, this vampire gains 1 blood before block resolution. A vampire can only have 1 archetype. So the archetypes usually allow a vampire to gain blood for being something or for doing something within the game. It's like how they're known in society of vampires and that. And obviously, whatever this goes on is known as a bit of a rebel, yeah? Alright, Roundhouse, another new card that... for me anyway, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know it's an important card if there's 8 of it in the deck. Let's take a look. Is that focusing? It will shortly. I'll just read it. Strike, hand strike at +2. Strike, hand strike at +3. Right, so if you did put the +2 strength on, you're already at 3 strength. You've Immortal Grappled them. Then you play this for another +3. You're doing 6 damage. Usually enough to throw most vampires into torpor. Slum Hunting Ground, gain a blood every turn. Very good. Smiling Jack the Anarch, really annoying. For each counter on this card, that Methuselah burns 1 pool or burns 1 blood from a vampire they control. Yeah, and anyone can destroy it as a D action. Just a Nosferatu, making things harder for everyone and forcing people to come towards them. Taste of Vitae, fantastic card. How many do we have? We've only got 4 in the deck, only usable at the end of a round of combat, not usable if a vampire is burned or going to torpor. So essentially what this card does is the damage that you do on the opposing vampire, you take it instead. This vampire gains blood equal to the amount of blood lost by the opposing vampire to damage this round. So, and that's interesting. Listen to the way it's worded. The vampire gains blood equal to the amount of blood lost by the opposing vampire to damage this round. So not only have you done that punch damage, which let's just say 6 in that case, maybe you've had a raven on your shoulder, 7, and Carrion Crows, 8. Yeah. Or it was the crows, sorry. Yeah. Alright. Underbridge Stray. Interesting card. So, poor little doggy coming around the corner there, or around the box. This ally can burn 1 life to give a minion you control 1 press. So a press allows you to continue combat or to end combat. So pretty much you've got this stray dog that's going right at the end of combat, telling you where the opponent is running to so you can continue combat. Yeah, no, very good. Vessel, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 vessels. Pretty much allows you to move blood to a vampire, or vice versa. The Warrens, we've got 4 of this card. Only usable during a directed action against you, such as a bleed or someone coming to destroy one of your things that you've put out. +2 intercept with an additional +1 intercept if this Nosferatu is titled. Costs them 1 blood. So effectively +3 intercept. I'm going to put down all this annoying stuff, and when you come to stop it, wake up, let's get into combat, Immortal Grapple, pop, pop, pop. You're in torpor. Next. Yeah. And Warsaw Station, very last card, costs you 2. So a station in Warsaw. I'll just quickly read this. You can lock this card. You can lock this card as a Nosferatu announces an undirected action. Undirected action, okay? So we're not talking about a bleed or anything like that. After action resolution, if that action was successful, unlock the acting Nosferatu. So pretty good. You can go for a feed, lock this, no one stops you, and unlock this. Or you could try and rescue someone out of torpor, or rescue yourself out of torpor and then get unlocked out of this. Yeah, very good card. You can burn this card even if it is locked to move a Nosferatu in torpor to the ready region. Now you would do that if a vampire is in torpor by himself, no one to rescue him, and he's got no blood on him, so he can't rescue himself because you normally need 2 blood to get out of torpor. You can burn this card, get him out, then he can go feed, and bang, you've got another Nosferatu. If he's not blocked on the feed, got another Nosferatu to perform actions with during your turn. So that is the Nosferatu deck. Brings us to the end of the 5 decks. If you haven't seen the other videos, go take a look at them. Any future videos for Vampire might be looking at, I don't know, some play styles perhaps, or some deck construction, or anything else that takes my fancy, or that you may have a suggestion on that you would like to see on the videos. Let us know in the comments. But I hope you have enjoyed this video and this series of videos. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.